Hey, there we go. Okay, now we're recording. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jonathan Yarden, aka Cars and Recreation. there's oh yeah,
That's
there's
me.
there's an applause button.
Yeah.
Did I? Hey, yeah, I found it. Yes, Mr. Jonathan. How are you? How
It's an
goes it?
honor to be here. Thank you for inviting me over.
Thank you for being
Discuss
here.
about cars, photography, stuff.
Yeah, all the above. We have a lot of overlapping interests.
Yeah.
One of them being Formula One. How's your season going?
Well, I'm a huge McLaren fan, since I was a kid, last year's it's been a bit tricky. With Honda, even with Renault, and then suddenly we got a win this year.
Yeah.
And I'm saying we, because I'm part of the team.
Yeah, the found
No,
counts.
no. No, huge, and it was been great because especially Daniel Ricciardo didn't have the easiest start of the year. So honestly, feels good to be for him to be back, on the podium, especially a win. And no, honestly, we watched it with my family, and we were just so happy for him and for the team. And yeah.
What happened to him in the start of the season?
No, apparently the new McLaren is super tricky to drive.
Okay.
So
Uh,
Lando Norris that's why a lot of people are saying that he's such an amazing talent, because he managed to, I don't know, to tame, the this really complicated car, and it's been really struggling for Daniel. So I think that's the reason behind it. I think it's a really tricky car to drive, and but they've been expecting it, and that's why they were like, we're not expecting huge stuff from Ricardo this year, but next year, yeah, we'll be developing the new car, 2022 car for with him, also. In the at the MTC, so I think that's the I think they have big hopes for 2022 for Daniel, and they weren't expecting a win for sure from him in Monza.
do you think with because they've steadily become far more successful this year than not only last year but the beginning of this year? Like they're more consistent. Ferrari as well. I think there's a lot of teams that seem to be growing in terms of their abilities and the
Yeah.
car. Uh, do you think there's a danger of putting too much effort into this year's cars and just forgetting that there needs to be a great car next year?
Yeah, it's a big risk. I think it's always been the struggle of these F1 teams to find the right balance between investing in the current year and the next one. Um, for example, Haas, they're just they knew it since, like, from the beginning. They didn't invest a penny into this year's car, and that's why the performance is so poor. Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Mazepin, so I won't say if he's a good or bad driver. I'm just saying I'm not a fan.
He's a terrible driver. Are you kidding me?
Okay, he's a terrible
Yeah,
driver.
to the standard of anyone else in Formula One and most of the people in Formula Two, and maybe some in Formula Three. He's
I
a
just remember that in F2 he was such really a dangerous driver, putting other people in risky situations. So, and
he
that's
still
what I
is.
really don't like. I listen to his podcast, on the F1 podcast they have on Spotify, and I listen to what he had to say, because sometimes, when you hear his story, sometimes you kind of get, his, you get to know the person a bit more, and but actually no. Honestly, he didn't see, like, whenever he had to explain also the situation about, him in the car, this Instagram story he posted last year before joining the team, where he grabbed, the this girl's boob, in the car, and
I didn't see that.
oh, really?
I had no idea that
You
happened.
haven't?
So he grabbed the girl's boob in an
So
Instagram story.
yeah, basically there was this huge controversy last year before we joined the team, because he was in a car. I think it was a 911, and he was a passenger. and one of his friends was at the wheel, and there was a girl in the back, and he's basically with his iPhone like this, and then he checks, in the back, and there's this girl, and she's basically like this because it's a 911, of
Yeah.
course, and he just grabs her boob,
Cool.
and she goes a bit like, oh, just back off, and they're just laughing. It's as if they just drove away from a club or something like that. So super late at night, and like honestly, huge backlash.
Yeah, of course.
And everybody was like asking Haas not to sign the guy. And he said, "Oh, I'm super sorry." Like he gave like a super corporate answer to his act.
Something his dad wrote.
Yeah. And basically, then I think, and even the girl said, "No, but actually we're friends, so it was not that bad." And actually, I'm sure he paid the girl to give this explanation, because
Christ.
Yeah, and I think just I think he's so bad with PRs, and that's why if you listen to his podcast he did, I think with Tom Clarkson, you just don't get to like the guy because he's basically saying, "Oh, you know what? I don't like F1. It's my job. I'm not having fun there."
Okay, but not in like a fun Kimi way.
Sorry?
Not in like a fun Kimi Räikkönen way.
No, it's not like. He said, it's my dream job because I'm having so much fun in the car. I love what I do. It's not like that. For him, it's a job. He's not here to make any friends. He basically said during the interview, I'm not a huge fan of Mick Schumacher. So you're like, so I mean, for the PRs, must be terrible to work with a guy like this.
He sounds spoiled. He sounds like he's had everything from the get-go, and that kind of mentality works in getting you friends in places like Russia and wherever he's from. But it's weird when you bring it to like a global stage. It just doesn't play out. It doesn't work.
I agree, and basically, everything sounded very negative.
Mm-hmm.
I think he started like the guy started the interview. He asked Mazepin like, "Oh, so now we're in Italy. I think it was Monza. So you spent a lot of time here growing up, teenager. So it feels like a second home, right?" And he basically said, "No, nothing feels here like a second home. My only home is Russia." And I'm like, "Don't say that."
Talking about? What is he talking about?
Why do you have to say that like this? And it sounded so negative.
It's incredible. But how did he get through Formula 2? I mean, it's not like people didn't ask him questions in Formula 2. How did people not figure this out by then? How much did his dad pay for that sponsorship role on Haas? Like, how much money do you have to throw at a company to get somebody like that at the helm? I mean, literally the driver's seat in the company. How much money do you have to? Does anybody know how much money did Mazepin give?
Probably hundreds of millions.
Huh? Just like 1% under majority share.
No, probably it's a lot because even the colors of the car have changed.
It's not just the colors. There's a Russian flag on the car.
American car.
The car is yeah. They're talking about like how Haas is going to compete in Coda and all this shit about Haas coming home, and Haas has their own like grandstand at the Circuit of the Americas.
Yeah.
It's a Russian flag on it.
Yeah. No, it doesn't feel like an American team anymore, and I do get it. They need the money, so they're willing to prostitute themselves a bit, to get a bit more cash. But is that the right solution? Because honestly, if you have a driver that people like, I mean, and I take for example Latifi at Williams. I think people started to. I think it started really badly as well. People just like, why is he here? And now he's showing a bit more performance as well, and people seem to like him more.
Latifi's been a good driver. He's tried and true. Like he's not the best, but he's consistent, and you know what you're going to get.
And he's a good match from time to time against Russell, who is proven to be one of the best and talents out there. So honestly, huge respect to him. But Mazepin, honestly, for the moment at least, I don't get why he's here. I know F2 he's been quite good, but we know there's a huge leap between F2 and F1. We're seeing it with Tsunoda. He's struggling as well, and he's also a huge talent apparently. So, and we're not seeing it so far this year.
I think it'll click. I'd give Tsunoda 3 years. 3 years, a slower car next year. I think it'll click for him.
Hopefully. I like the guy, and I think he's also great. I like
he's driven.
His interviews as well. He's really fun. He swears a lot for Japanese. Japanese, we're not usually used to that, but
it sounds like he grew up around Westerners.
Yeah, that's great.
We need that, especially with people like Kimi leaving. We need to fill in that like rock star void, because a lot of the guys are very clean cut and following like Lewis's perfect human example, and we need some more risque, fun guys to watch. We need rock stars. It's Formula One. Like these guys are the bravest athletes in the universe. Nobody else is putting, and there's no other sport where they're putting their bodies on the line like that, except for like base jumping.
No, for sure.
Aside from that, nobody's going into a race or an event or a game or whatever with the same amount of risk that they are. So we need them to have this like, fuck it, I'm the best attitude. And I think that's something that's been prevalent with people like Jackie Stewart and all these guys, like even Mick Schumacher, and these guys who drove like mean and aggressive, but we're good at it. And to see that go out with Kimi and then be replaced with these like clean cut, super young, fresh faced, like follow all the rules kind of kids, that's a little rough. So we're lucky we still have people like Daniel and jokesters.
Yeah.
Jokester. And Yuki.
No, and Yuki.
That's funny. Yuki's the new Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah, he's super fun. So yeah, hopefully it will work out. And I think we also need people from Asia, just because we need more people. Like I'm saying we, but actually Formula One needs people from all over the world to continue watching. We need more people to watch it, as otherwise the sports, which is still under a lot of controversy with all what's happening with global warming and stuff like that. It's the first kind of sport that people look at.
It's the worst for sure.
I think it's good. Yeah, it's good to show
hundreds of people to different cities around the world every weekend. It's bad.
Yeah. No, of course. But we need more people to watch, so it gives an excuse. And also, I think the plans to go carbon neutral by 2025, I think it was, or 2030. I don't remember, but
I wish them luck.
Yeah, well, they just I think signed a deal with one of these corporations that will do the synthetic fuel.
Yeah, they called it like e-fuel or something. They had some dumb name for it.
Yeah. So I'm basically curious. that should help as well. So let's see.
How long until that comes?
2025.
So the future of automobiles and perhaps the planet's health is in the hands of Formula One and Porsche. Both fighting to create this synthetic fuel because we want engines. I love it. It's not the UN. It's not some NGO. It's Porsche and it's Formula One. I'm into it.
God bless.
Hey, why not? Before we move on, I want to bring up one final thought about Haas. Yeah. In that I watch a lot of American football, if you couldn't tell. And there's a team called the Green Bay Packers, who are one of the oldest teams in the NFL, one of the greatest teams in NFL history, and one of my favorite teams to watch. And one of the reasons why they are one of the coolest teams is because they're publicly traded. So there are thousands of shareholders, and a lot of them are fans who just buy like one share just to say they have it. They wear shirts that say like Packers owner, things like that. Can we have an IPO for Haas? Can we sell Haas shares to the public and kick out Nikita Mazepin for once and all? How sick would that be? You and I would buy for sure. I'd spend like 10,000.
Yeah,
I'd spend or 10,000 Norwegian kroner. I wouldn't spend more than that, but like 1,000 euros. I'd spend like 1,000 euros to buy part of Haas.
I would.
It'd be awesome.
Yeah. I think technically it's possible.
I wonder how many people would and how much money they could get out of that. Is it feasible? And when Nikita Mazepin crashes a car, do they ask us for more money, or how does that work?
Yeah, I'm just saying. I think there's the thing is I think there's so many variable costs in F1.
Yeah,
and that's the reason why they wouldn't do it. Even they have constantly new contracts, and that's what I think. The moment Mazepin leaves, it's going to be another one, and it's going to be called. I think even I don't know if you remember in Drive to Survive there was this focus on this guy who got rich energy.
yeah,
And yeah, the crazy British guy, and he basically tweeted, I think this year, oh no, we're not dead. We're actually coming back, and we're coming back in F1. So everybody's like, how?
Yeah.
There was this whole again, and I think he wants to do it either with Haas or Williams. And so I don't know if it's again. It just shows that it's constantly changing kind of hands in terms of ownership and stuff like that. And
then let it change hands among thousands of Formula One fans.
I agree.
Let us buy some shares, and if you need to make more money, release more shares. If not, then get sponsors. I mean, it can be like 50% publicly owned or something like that. Why not? Yeah. Just let us buy in. I would love to own Haas.
Yeah, I think technically it's possible. If they did it in the NFL, you could do it in F1.
Yeah, why not? Let's go. NFL's way bigger. Costs way more.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I might be talking out of my ass.
Yeah. I don't know, but I would be for sure. I'd chip in for sure.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit more about your site on Drive Tribe, your page, your tribe, so to speak. For those of these people who who don't know what Drive Tribe is, can you explain it and why you're a part of it?
Yeah. So basically, it's a social media, like kind of a platform that shares, content based on cars, motorbikes, everything that basically has an engine. It's been created in 2016 by Jeremy Clarkson, James Bay, and Richard Hammond, who you may know as the ex-TV presenters of Top Gear and now the host of the Grand Tour. So it's been so it's quite niche because obviously it's social media, but only around stuff with engines. And it's open source. So basically you're allowed to post some articles, some photos, some videos about anything related to cars and stuff like that on the platform. And then they have some kind of regulators that just put you on the spot, promote it, and just put you in the right areas where, I don't know, if you're doing an article on Saab, they will put you in the right spots where people who are interested in Saab will see what you posted, and therefore you will gain more views. So basically, I joined since the beginning, 2016. And I post every week articles about cars. I started this because I was working in a car dealership alongside my studies, and I was doing a lot of content for them, videos, photos about their cars, and they were pretty cool because it's basically vintage cars and sports cars. So we had anything from Ferrari 250 short wheelbase to the latest, I don't know, Lamborghini Aventador. So that was great. It was a huge range of cars, and I got to drive some of them, so that was cool. And I was like, yeah, I'm sitting on the gold mine here, all this content, and I wanted to share it. And that's how we got it started. And now the plan was maybe to stop after I got my master's degree, because I was like, oh, okay, now I'm going to get a job, like a steady job, But actually, the performance went up. Yeah, now we reached 7 million views accumulated on my page only.
That's impressive.
So yeah, I was super happy, and more brands wanted to also give me some cars. So now I'm working closely with Jaguar, Land Rover, Volkswagen, Audi, all these brands in Switzerland, and I do. They give me a car for I don't know, a week or two, and I get to do whatever I want with it. I can go abroad. I can. Not do too much stupid shit, obviously, but I can do
reason.
basically whatever I want, and I put sometimes over 1,000 kilometers on them, and it's all good, which is great for me because I get to drive this car really long term, I say mid-term, and I get to get a stance, and then I'm trying to transmit, all this, how I felt about the car in a fun and not too complicated way in my articles. And also I like to shoot cars as well. So I don't do it as often as you, but
I would argue you do it more.
Maybe.
You shoot a lot.
Yeah, actually, maybe once or twice a week, actually.
Yeah, there you go. See, I'm stuck in this office more than that. But the weird thing about Drive Tribe, and I mean, if you think about it just from like an objective social media platform, because it is a social media, right? It's crowdsourced content based off of comments, but the content itself is so uniquely long form compared to any other social media. Why does that work in the car industry, and why doesn't that work on places like Facebook or Instagram?
It's a good question, but
thank you. Because
I mean, there's just so much different kind of content on Drive. I think what they managed to do so well is also to be a bit more fun. So you have actually a lot of polls and I don't know, short videos and that you really see immediately. But you have it also on Facebook. But I mean, polls right now and quizzes are super popular on the platform, and that's stuff you don't see on Facebook. Well, you would see it, but you would be redirected to I don't know, another site, and usually it doesn't work or it's glitchy. And here everything is embedded in there, and it works really well. And I think that's people find it engaging.
Yeah.
And there's so much different stuff. There's short articles, longer articles. There's reviews. There's just like point of views of, I don't know, last weekend's F1 race. Questions asked, like, oh, this is my unpopular opinion about this car.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? And then people engage. And I think the car community is so passionate. I think that's the reason why they're willing to spend a bit more time on it and invest. And that's the thing. Facebook, it's about your friends, but not only. It's also about some of your friends' relations. And that's why I think it's what made also the Facebook right now a bit more, like, I think, dumber, because I'm not on it anymore, to be honest, because it's really like, oh, look, Kyle's friend did that last weekend. I don't care.
Yeah.
Tell me what Kyle did. I'm more interested in what like his pal did,
Yeah.
So I think they're trying to, I don't know, like.
But that's the weird thing is, if you had a group on Facebook of, say, 20,000 Porsche enthusiasts, which there are plenty of those groups, there's tons.
Yeah.
If I were to write a 1,000 word article about why I think the GTS is a better use of a naturally aspirated 4-liter engine versus a GT4, like, no one would read it on Facebook, but when I post it on Drive Tribe, I'm like guaranteed to get over 15,000 to 20,000 reads and like 50 comments. And the comments aren't just like initial like regurgitations of other people's opinions. The comments are like thought out, and like people are contributing to the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm really curious as to why that works with the same people. I mean, the Porsche enthusiasts, why that works with them on Drive Tribe versus a different social media platform. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, because basically the way everything is displayed, it's the same on Facebook. You got a feed, thing pops up, stuff that might interest you. I think it's the fact that that there are, I don't remember the amount of people on DriveThru. I think it's short of 20 million people on it. So it's not that much if you compare it to other social media platforms like the giants out there. But I think since everybody's interested basically in that, you also get more readers. So that's why maybe if you post it on just Porsche enthusiast pages, you might get less.
Yeah.
But that's just maybe my theory. Honestly, I don't really know.
I'm curious. I think they did something really well with creating the culture from the get-go, and they sort of established it as like, look, this is where we're going to be honest and share opinions and actually like converse about these topics. Whereas Facebook was just like, go post things, go do it. And I don't know. It's always been curious to me, but like, I really appreciate it. I love it.
Yeah, maybe there's more sense of community that they managed to put together. It's still not 100% perfect, to be honest. I still think there's a lot of content. I mean, they have 800K followers on Instagram, and I still think that most of the stuff they post on it is not very good. I would share. I would start sharing more about the stuff like today we've seen that. Today this was the topic, the main topic, of the day. So and they don't do that enough, in my opinion. I do get, also they have a strategy. They're trying to attract some manufacturers, some brands to say, oh, we noticed you, and we want to communicate more about your cars on the platform. And then they get some sponsorships. I think right now it's with Lexus. So you see some posts here and there on Lexus, and so I think it's a strategy. I don't think it's the perfect one, but hey, they're only 5 years old, so they're building it. The platform has changed dramatically since the beginning. So we can expect some more stuff. And now there's also the addition of Apple News, so they actually share some selected content on Apple News as well. So it gives a bit more, impressions, more reach again to articles, photo shoots, videos. So let's see where it goes. For now, for me, it's perfect. It's a perfect platform to post on because I have no ties, basically. If one day I decide to stop everything, it's not a problem. I don't need to pay, like on my own website. I don't know. I don't need to pay for anything.
Yeah.
So on the other hand, I don't have sponsorship on my page, so I don't get paid. So I get a bit of money from DriveTribe, but this basically pays for the fuel. So
they pay you that much?
I have an agreement with them. Since I was there since the beginning, we managed to find an agreement.
I get like £2 every month. Maybe.
I think if you posted more often and you say, I'm posting I would post every week or every second week.
Yep.
You could probably reach an agreement.
So you're saying if I were to post 10 times as much as what I post now, I'd be making £20 a month? That's good money. That's almost gas. See, that's the dangerous thing with DriveTribe. It's not scaling for me yet. For now, for me at least, it's more of like a place where I can rant about random shit that makes me angry or excited.
That's okay, I guess.
Works for me.
Yeah,
it's an outlet, and people listen for some reason. So I'll take it. I might post this. Let's post this on. This will be the exclusive behind the scenes of Cars and Recreation for DriveTribe. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Done. Sold. And on that note, why is Cars and Recreation so popular on DriveTribe?
That's a good question
Thank you.
because we started we started quite with big cars, I'd say, because when I was working at this dealership, we had access to so many amazing cars. Unfortunately, now I don't work there anymore, so I'm still friends with the owners. So from time to time, whenever I see something really cool, I can ask them, okay, can we just go for a drive? I need to check this car out. We need to do a proper photo shoot, and then I try to do an article about it. But now, and that's the funny thing, it's now I get more relatable cars. Like I think the last article was the Audi A6 plug-in hybrid, which is, let's face it, it's not as exciting as a Lamborghini Countach, you know.
Yeah, or a T-Roc convertible.
For sure, for sure. So it's not that exciting, but still, there were like 30,000 people checking out the article and commenting. So obviously, DriveTribe will try to push, and promote my articles, put them on the banner up there, and put it on the homepage. But still, I think, is it the way maybe I write? It's straight to the point. It's not too long. You get a sense of what it is. I raise some questions. I know there's a lot of four stars out of 5 stars reviews out there.
You know that question's coming, right? Have you ever, and will you ever, give a car less than 4 stars?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Toyota GR Yaris. Yeah.
Toyota Yaris, you gave 3 stars.
The GR, yeah.
No, you gave the GR, the Graris, 3 stars.
The Graris, yeah.
Why?
I mean, it was a good car.
Yeah.
But not for me. Like the driving position was odd. I don't know. Have you driven it?
You're 8 feet tall. You're like 3 meters. That's the problem.
But have you driven it?
No, but I would kill somebody to drive it.
Yeah.
And everybody who has driven it disagrees with you.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, driving position is odd.
Okay. Why is it odd?
You sit very high.
You sit very high.
So basically, I was driving like this.
Yeah, you always drive like that though.
No,
because you're 8 feet tall.
Well, honestly, it's
Okay.
super weird. It's a super weird way, and you cannot, and then you cannot, and with the passenger seat as well, there's something very weird. You cannot just incline it
Okay.
or decline it. It's super weird.
Like the Polestar.
No, and then there's also the clutch. I thought the clutch wasn't really good. It's not a super comfortable car to drive every day. So I wasn't expecting it to be comfortable, but everybody's saying, "Oh, it's great because it's the perfect all-rounder."
Yeah.
I didn't think so. I think the clutch is makes the car super. I don't know how you say it, but
Is it too twitchy, like too fast, or is it too?
it's a bit. Yeah, I don't know. It's basically makes the rides quite uncomfortable, especially when you're driving in town or. So no, wasn't that a huge fan. It's super fast.
Okay.
And I think it looks quite good. Honestly, I really like the way it looks.
Strong hips.
Yeah, strong hips,
Good-looking car.
and it's really. No, I think it's still quite inconspicuous in a way. Like
Yeah.
you would just hit down and people won't notice you. They just think it's a regular Yaris, So no, I think in that sense it's great.
Okay.
Looks fantastic. It's just for me the way it drives, it wasn't my style.
And how many stars did you give the T-Roc convertible again?
Maybe 3.
You give it the same as the Graris?
Maybe.
Okay.
Oh, maybe. I don't remember actually. I need to check it out.
Oh.
But then the thing is, today, every
Yeah.
car is great.
Yeah.
We only have good cars.
Yeah. So
Like,
1 star should mean
starts-
more.
Some of them are better than others, but I cannot justify saying, "Oh, this is only a 2-star out of 5," because it means
But it
basically it had issues. They're like basically like inherently like there are issues with this car.
Yeah. So
and that's not the case with
if the
any
car works, it's 4 out of 5, except for the garage.
Because sometimes they're just like tiny flaws.
Yeah.
There are some issues. So, for example, I will take the Golf GTI, the new one.
Yeah.
Excellent car. I think it drives on this here. I think it's perfect.
Yep.
It's perfect on the driving side. Then inside also very well, but the build quality is inferior.
Okay.
And then you get also these
Inferior to like an RS3 or
to the Golf 7.
okay.
Yeah. So
How?
they went backwards and they now have this infotainment system that is super glitchy. When you start the car, so when the car is cold, it doesn't react to anything. And then you get all this tactile controls, so for the volume, for basically anything, and for the climate control, and it doesn't work really well. Like you get like a haptic feedback, but it's not on sync. It's super weird. It doesn't work really well, and had the same issue with the ID3. So the new electric car. You probably have a lot of those in Norway.
Yeah, plenty.
Basically, apparently they had, when they launched the car, they told customers, like there was a disclaimer saying that they had to sign, saying the car comes with some software issues. So don't sue us.
Wow.
And we'll try and fix it.
Wow.
And basically, it's when they launched everything, this new software on the Golf, ID3, and well, basically everything they launched ever since. They've had issues because they launched it too quickly, trying to stay ahead and stuff. So that's why I cannot give this car a 5, because for me a 5 it's nothing to say, perfect, clean sheet.
So 4 out of 5 then.
4 out of 5.
It's binary. It's binary. You might as well be 1 or 2.
Maybe.
It either gets a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
I'm also trying to be nice, to the manufacturers to give me the car for 1 or 2 weeks.
Don't be nice.
But it's true. The cars are great. Even a T-Roc cab is a good car. Oof. It starts, it runs perfectly, it does everything you ask it to do.
Starts. Yeah, all right.
It's a good car.
Sick.
You might not like it.
Imagine complimenting a friend's car. If your friend just bought a new car and you wanted them to be excited and you were like, wow, yep, it starts. Nice. That starts.
Of course, but then this would come in it's more subjective. Then it would be more subjective reviews, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to have a more open, opinion that try to covers what every car guy thinks,
So cars and recreation is more or less assessments from the point of view of a man who just loves cars in general.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And it's basically also if you don't know anything about cars and you're interested in getting the new, I don't know, T-Roc cab, should I get it?
All three
and
of
I
them.
will say, like, it's not subjective here, and I will just say, what do I think about the car? And I will say it. I will say I'm not a huge fan, but it does everything you ask it to do.
It starts.
Plus, you can take the roof off.
It starts and the roof comes off. It is perhaps one of the ugliest things that Volkswagen has ever made. That's my review of the car.
And that's subjective.
No. No. It looks like a Range Rover Evoque. It's a disaster.
Yeah, for me, and that's what also I try to say. I'm saying it won't ever be anyone, to everyone's cup of tea, but that's the way it is. They did it for a reason, and I don't think it's a good reason as well. And I tried to explain this in the article. For me, it makes absolutely no sense, but I think it's fun. It's still fun that Volkswagen, the most corporate company in the world, this went like, oh, let's do this. It's because why not? And I like that. I think it's quirky. and I wouldn't buy it ever.
Yeah.
But I think it's cool that they made it. Maybe it's going to be a future classic. We don't know. I think they're expecting 10,000 cars. Like they expect to sell 10,000 cars per year.
Of those,
I'm like, that's it.
10,000 of that's it. What are you talking? That's a lot of cars.
But do you know how much they sell like Golfs every?
I don't care. 10,000 people is a lot of people.
Yeah, but it's still like, I think a regular T-Roc is probably 30 times more.
So 10,000 people. That car's so ugly. Okay.
Across all Europe.
What do you?
I don't know. It's let's say it's a lot of dumb people. I think because I mean, if I'm looking for, because it would make a bit more sense if it had more space in the back.
Yeah, here we go.
If it had four-wheel drive.
Yep, keep going.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
And I don't know, because then I'm not the one to judge on looks. I'm not going to say it looks, because everybody, I've seen a couple on the road.
What do you mean you're not the one to judge on looks? You look at some of the most beautiful cars in the world in your driveway, inside and out, all the time. You are the one to judge on looks. If not you, then who?
I'm just going to say, I think it looks nice.
Oh.
But I won't say it is nice.
Oh man.
I don't know.
All right. What are you driving right now?
So right now I'm driving a Cupra Leon Estate plug-in hybrid car.
An ID4 with an engine.
No, because it's basically it's a lowered ID4. No, it's not electric. It's plug-in hybrid. So it's
with an engine.
And it's super bad. I mean, it's not.
Oh, 3
I
out
think
of 5.
Incoming
and hot.
Okay, again, it's not bad.
We're in Grarius territory.
For me, it's just, and I will say it in the article. It's false advertising. I don't really get what they're trying to do with the Cupra brand. I always thought they were more the performance-oriented, Seats.
Yeah.
Actually, this one has a 1.6 liter petrol engine that has, I think, 160 horsepower.
Volkswagen engine.
Yeah. And it's paired to one of these big batteries. So I think overall it's 245 horsepower.
Okay.
But it's super slow. It's super slow because you get this, I don't know,
front wheel,
150 kilograms battery in the back. Whenever you don't have any more juice, you just carry this extra weight, and you get this tiny engine in this estate that is quite, large car.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Cupra, really? So you get also this fancy kind of, I don't know, looks sporty. You have this fake quad exhaust, tips at the back, this copper theme. Not a huge fan, but still, I mean, they're trying to advertise it as a quick car, as a performance-oriented car, and it's not. So that's why I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And so I do understand they have a 310 horsepower alternative, which is what I would get personally if I get a Cupra.
As the hybrid?
No.
That one's fully electric.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just don't get the point. That's it.
Is that still the Leon, or is that the Foreman whatever?
So they have the 310 horsepower engine in the Leon.
Okay.
And then they have it also in the Formentor.
Formentor.
Now apparently they put also the 5-cylinder engine from Audi in the Formentor, and I think this is pretty cool.
Now we're talking.
Yeah, and that's cool because it's a real Cupra.
Yeah. That's a classic engine. That Audi's 5 cylinders make a noise that everyone should be able to recognize.
Yeah.
I don't, but everybody should. Yeah, okay. So but Cupra won't go that direction. I mean, even if they have that as an availability, but is that a Cupra or is that a Seat with like the Cupra mini badge?
No. So now they really separated both brands. So if you go on Seat's websites, you won't ever find a Cupra, you won't ever find the Formentor.
Okay.
You will just find Seats, so
Okay.
your Ibiza, etc. So, and then you have the Cupra website, and there you will find the Leon, you will find the Formentor, the Ateca, which is the SUV, and you will find them there. And I think for me, it makes just no sense. Just do Seat, Ateca, Cupra, and that's. I think everybody was fine with it. I don't know why they suddenly just decided to take this direction. So
they followed Polestar's lead, I guess.
Which makes again no sense in my opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know why they did it.
I'm a little bit curious about that because the Polestar platform. I mean, the XC40 is like a chunky Polestar too, right?
And now they have the C40 as well, which is basically a Polestar.
It's a Polestar, yeah. It's interesting.
So that's why I'm like, and same price range. So I would expect. I don't know. I was talking with the guys whenever because we test drove actually the Polestar 1.
Yep.
And the Polestar 2. Did you get a go in this one?
Yeah, I put like 5,000 kilometers on that car.
Yeah, for sure. And you were one of the first ones to drive it.
Yeah, first in Norway.
Yeah.
That was
yeah.
Good trip, great car. I don't blame it. But one of the best things about that car is that the interior is a Volvo. I mean, a lot of it.
Yeah.
That's comfortable. It's nice. You get the transmission tunnel, so it's very familiar. The dashboard is super clean, really nice, solidly built. You don't knock and hear like an echo for 10 minutes. Like I mean, I own a Tesla, so I'm okay saying these things, but like Tesla, sometimes you accidentally hit your knee on something and you hear it echo for like a good hour. It is what it is.
Yeah, that's what I heard. So, yeah, I like the Tesla products. I'm not a huge fan of Elon, but I know the cars they deliver. So
he's worth more than ExxonMobil as of today.
That's crazy. It's crazy. I know it's totally crazy. I think yesterday they passed 1 trillion in valuation.
Yeah. What does that even mean? I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know it's a lot.
Yeah. Damn. I wouldn't say no, but Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious because a lot of these companies seem like, especially like the big consumer level, not like the ones that are conflated with luxury cars or whatever. A lot of these like Volkswagens and Seats, and they're kind of hedging their bets, it seems like to me, in that they're creating a separate identity for like the next generation of consumer level cars to try to split away from whatever personality like Seat had in the past. Because Seat, like, if Seat made an electric car, would you trust? Like, I don't think I would trust it. But under the Cupra brand, I think there's a lot more legitimacy. Like, take Ford, for example. Ford makes their first electric car, and it's more recognizable as a Mustang than it is a Ford to me. And then now with the F-150, like it's more recognizable as a Lightning than it is a Ford to me. So it seems like a very common thing, just like Polestar to Volvo and Cupra to Seat and whomever else. I wonder if that's a healthy thing. I wonder if we're going to see like a reset, maybe like owning a Volkswagen in general will be, or like owning a Seat in general will be like a classic eventually. Like, will the Polestar SUV replace Volvo's XC60? I'm curious.
Yeah, it's a good question because for me, it used to make sense whenever we didn't have a lot of these electric cars around, especially for Volvo, because I remember having a chat, with the guy at the dealership, and he was explaining that they wanted Polestar to be kind of the electric brand of Volvo.
Mm-hmm.
But then because he was saying it's easier to sell them, as a separate brand, we're a bit Volvo, but not that much. We're really Volvo something else. So it's easier because you don't have a lot of credibility when you're selling, I don't know, one XC40 plug-in right next to one with a T5, engine. So I do get that. This that they need a bit more credibility. But on the other hand, so why now do we have an XC40 with an electric engine? Why do you have a C40 that is basically a Polestar 2? They start at the same. I do get it if Polestar wanted to be more upscale.
Mm-hmm.
That would make a bit more, or a bit more performance oriented. That would make more sense. But it's actually it's not the case at all. It's the same cars.
Do you think Polestar and Cupra are guinea pig brands? Like testing the water for these bigger companies? And then if the water's fine, then Volvo will be like, aha, now all of our shit's electric. There you go. And then just sort of throw Polestar to the side and be like, you guys just go back to making race cars or whatever.
It's a good theory. I think it applies to Polestar. Cupra, it doesn't, because I think they just wanted to have... But that's what I don't get. For me, Seat, they always try to be kind of the cool, like Volkswagen's cool little younger brother, you know, with products that are a bit more, I don't know, style oriented, also less expensive, build quality kind of the same standard. And now, why are they trying to be again a bit younger oriented with the Cupra? That's why I don't. Maybe there's something I don't get. Mm-hmm. Maybe they know more, and probably that's it. But I don't see why you would separate these two. And it's also I think it increases, you know, the complexity of also the understanding of the consumers, because isn't it the same thing? And probably they're spending a lot to, I don't know, to teach, you know, all these consumers, because honestly I don't know what they're trying to do, especially because they're not. I have is oriented at all. It just looks quite sporty, and that's it.
Yeah.
So maybe it's the way we're going. Just sporty looks and no go.
I wonder if part of it is that they're taking electric sportiness for granted, in that you can put a battery in a car and suddenly it has 300 horsepower and it can be 4-wheel drive like that, just by adding 2 engines front and back. I wonder if, like, okay, Cupras used to have 310 horsepower. Mm-hmm. This battery has 310 horsepower. Now it's Cupra. Go out and brag about the sportiness.
No, for sure. I think they might do it. They did it already. And now they have this new, it's called Born, I think.
Yeah. The hatchback thing.
Yeah. Which is basically an ID3 with a bit more stylish. And that's what they're doing. And they say it's sporty, and actually is it? I'm not really sure. So no, let's see. I think it's still the beginning, but for the moment, I really don't understand where it's going.
No, but it's straight. It's fun to watch it, because there's a lot of companies that are also going like the complete opposite direction. Like they're just going nuts. Drop it, like Porsche, for example, who is making basically swan songs for every one of their models right now. Like every car that Porsche makes, the Macan, the 718, the maybe the 911, the Cayenne, like they're making the final versions of those cars at the moment before they turn them into something electric. But it could have been so easy for Porsche to just sort of change the name of the 718, for example. Like if they put a battery in the 718 and said, okay, it's electric now, they could have, instead of calling it a Cayman or a Boxster, just been like, this is now the, I don't know, whatever Porsche would name a car. It's so random. It seems weird. But instead they came out and they have said the next one is officially a 718. Or at least maybe that's the working title. I don't know. But do you think that's going to play out well compared to these other brands that are completely creating new identities?
I think they're all going to try to shift, at some point towards electric. We're seeing Land Rover, Jaguar by 2025. It's only going to be electric cars.
Really?
So, yeah.
2025. 100%. So the new Defender has a very short lifespan ahead of it.
And they know it, so that's why they try to push with the V8, with the diesels, because all of those will be banned at some point.
Yeah.
So we know, but they're just going to try to push as long and as much as they can to sell all of those, and then it's going to switch to electric cars. Let's see. Honestly, I'm more of a I'm more in defense of I think synthetic fuels. I think it's on the midterm, it should be a bit better. Long term, I don't know. I just think also the prices might go up with these electric cars just because the resources you need for the batteries, at some point will have less. So let's see how it goes. For me, I just see it for Porsche. I think they're doing the right. I think they're doing the right move, and just because they are this rich brand that manages to build emotions around the product that everybody's like, oh, there's no emotions around electric cars, and they manage to do it in such a way with communications, and you see what they were doing also with Type 7 and stuff like that. It's super, they bring emotions out of these, and it's considered as art and a philosophy, and that's why I think people are okay with it. I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, the Taycan's shit car." These might be isolated cases but you hear so much of that with Tesla.
Yeah.
Maybe not in Norway, but I think in the rest of the world, a lot of people criticize, these electric cars, especially. But Taycan came out, everybody was like, "Oh, I'm okay with it."
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, living in Norway, I'm kind of in a strange, I'm about 5 years in the future, I guess. In that, if you're buying a new car now and it's not electric, you're making a mistake.
Yeah. No,
I'm saving a lot of money on buying. I mean, I have the Tesla Model 3 Performance. I'm paying zero tax on that. My loan from the bank is at 0.25% interest. I'm paying zero congestion fees. My tolls are about 10% of everybody else's. Parking is free in a lot of cases and extremely cheap in others. It's pretty insane. I just bought a garage space with a charger inside it. So I will be charging my car at home from December on. And that is 2,500 Norwegian kroner twice a year. So about 500 euros every year to charge my car. And that's it. That's all I pay to keep it running. So, and this is a car that has 450 plus horsepower. I can put it in rear wheel drive and go sideways. It's comparably about the price of, let's say, an Audi A3 or something, where you are. It's insane. But Norway is a hard country, and for me to sit here and talk about the future of electric cars and how omnipresent it's going to be, I shouldn't be listened to. It only exists where I'm at. This is the trends that only I can and people in Norway can think about. And it's a luxury that we can't think about, to be honest. But that aside, the dichotomy between performance right now, from petrol cars, swan songs now the R engine, you've been saying, Volkswagen's R engine is being put into things like the T-Roc and the Tiguan and all these random cars. Yeah. Porsche is putting 4-liter naturally aspirated engines in every single car it makes. There's so many big swan songs coming out and awesome shit coming out, dying last words from these classic companies. And then you have companies like Rimac, Panini or whatever it's called, who are making 3,000 horsepower rockets. Tesla's putting in 1,000 horsepower in the Model S. You can get a pickup truck now from the States with 1,000 horsepower. The Hummer has 1,000 horsepower.
Yeah.
Is this the greatest era for performance cars of all time ever.
Yeah, I think so. Like honestly, I've driven quite a lot of electric cars right now.
Okay, brag
Nothing
about it.
to say about them. Honestly, I think they're great.
4 out of 5.
Performance is awesome. I think here in Switzerland we're living in the in the past, so I cannot comment on what you're saying. So for me, at the moment, it's not very convenient to have an electric car here. But it's true. I think we're seeing so many amazing cars right now coming out. I'm super excited to see. There's the the latest R8 also to come out, and they're saying that this is the end. Beautiful car, amazing engine with the V10, Lamborghini as well. Trying still, there's some slight electrification in there, but still, it's all about that V12, and they're pushing it. They know it's the last call, so
Yeah.
they're just pushing everything out and offering, amazing cars. And we know, like the 4 out of 5 stars review, every car is great.
Yeah.
Well, now they're putting everything on the next level, so they're great plus they're simply amazing now. So
Yeah.
and so I've been truly amazed to see that some of these companies now are just getting a bit madder, and getting like, let's get crazy and let's make that, because we know it's the end anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that makes no corporate sense. I don't see a board saying, yeah, exactly, let's put a V8 in the latest Land Rover Defender.
Yeah.
It's anyway going to be driven in the nice neighborhoods of London, etc. So let's do that. And no, they did it because it's fun. And they I think they're putting aside, maybe putting aside, all this corporate bullshit and just saying, okay, what are we in for? What are we in for? Why are we doing cars? Because we want it to be fun, and I think most of these companies, they started doing cars and not just as locomotion, but they all try to do a sports car. All of them, like we're saying Seat, we're saying Skoda, we're saying Mercedes, they all have a sports car, because at the end of the day, they're all passionate about that. They want to go fast, and now they're pushing it to the limit. I think it's great.
Yeah. And on that note, should we wrap it up? I think that's
until
good.
the next one.
Until the next one. I'm pretty happy. 1 hour later, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for sticking by. If you're still here, like, comment, subscribe, whatever. Go to Drive Tribe, search Cars and Recreation. Is there an easier way to find you?
Instagram. We're on Instagram as well.
There you go. Instagram as well. Cool. So, Jonathan, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kyle, and and see you next time.
Yes,
see
sir.
you guys
Woo.
online.
Cool. That is a wrap. I'm going to hit stop recording.